Hi, I'm Jane, and this is the story of two twin sisters, a story the whole world needs to hear, for Vanessa. After our parents died, we ended up in an orphanage, where time drifted by like cold fog, and every morning felt exactly the same. But living among strangers didn't feel so scary because Vanessa was right there with me. Vanessa was always the talented one. She drew things like she was seeing the world with her heart instead of her eyes.
I never felt jealous. Her drawings were more like a little hiding place.
We even had this game. She'd hide something, sketch a clue, and I'd run around the orphanage solving her riddles to find her treasures. A piece of candy, or a smiley face doodle. Then one day in the middle of fall, a woman showed up at the orphanage, Miss Warren. She said she wanted to adopt me. Just me. It felt like the floor dropped out from under me. I couldn't even keep my thoughts straight. I just kept saying I couldn't leave without Vanessa. We're inseparable. But Miss Warren kept saying she'd take my sister later, that it was just some paperwork thing we had to wait for. Vanessa stayed with me all night while I packed, telling me we'd get through it. But when I climbed into Miss Warren's car the next morning, it felt like someone ripped a piece of my soul away. Miss Warren's house was in another city, neat, spaless, almost weirdly perfect. She was kind, maybe a little too kind. She made me breakfast, bought clothes I never could have gotten for myself. I was grateful, I really was. But I still couldn't call her mom. I missed Vanessa so much that sometimes I'd bolt awake in the middle of the night, terrified, like I'd left my sister somewhere. We wrote each other actual letters because she didn't have a phone. She sent me drawings, like she was trying to stay close to me through them. But over time, her drawings started to change. They got stranger, like she was trying to tell me something, but couldn't say it outright. I kept hinting to Miss Warren that it was time to adopt Vanessa too, but she would just give me a gentle smile and nod.
Soon, sweetheart, soon.
And the more time passed, the more I realized that soon was a lie. Miss Warren started acting weird. Sometimes I'd hear her whispering to herself, and she hovered over me way too much. She told me to keep the bathroom door open at all times, and if I closed it, she'd stand outside and ask every 2 minutes if she was okay.
Yes, I know they're twins, but I only need one daughter. I can't handle the other one!
It felt like getting hit by lightning, and when I tried to talk to her that morning, she acted like she had no idea what I was talking about. So, I decided to take matters into my own hands. If Miss Warren didn't want to let me go, then I needed to make her want to get rid of me herself. I tore up my clothes, threw fits in public, hid food, tossed out her dinners. But instead of sending me back, Miss Warren got even more attentive.
Sweetheart, you're under a lot of stress. You need therapy. I'm not letting you go anywhere alone.
She even added more locks to the doors and followed me everywhere, like a shadow. Meanwhile, Vanessa's letters started coming less frequently, and the drawings just got stranger. Broken lines, hidden symbols. I kept trying to figure it out, but none of it made sense. And then, the letters stopped completely. I could feel the panic crawling up inside me. So, one morning, I grabbed some money from Miss Warren's piggy bank and left before she woke up. When the bus stopped by the orphanage, I jumped out like something was pushing me forward. I ran into our old room. Vanessa was gone.
She ran off. It happens.
I stormed straight to the director. She ran off? It happens? I burst out of the orphanage and started searching for Vanessa, checking the streets, peeking into alleys, calling her name until my voice turned raw.
Eventually, I dropped onto a park bench and took out her drawings again. I stared at them like a map. I finally realized I'd been holding them upside down.
And suddenly, everything started lining up, piece by piece. One drawing was that familiar window view with the supermarket across the street. Another had that weird squiggly line that turned out to be a route from the orphanage. And the third? I recognized the logo on the doctor's coat. I stood up from the bench, and followed the clues the same way I used to follow Vanessa's drawings in our little game. On Anita's time, the answer wasn't a piece of candy. It was my sister. I followed the route from the sketch until I finally reached the diagnostic center. It was right next to the same supermarket, exactly the way Vanessa had drawn it. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like it wanted out. Have you seen a girl here? Someone who kind of looks like me?
Yeah, there was someone like that.
She's my sister! What happened to her? What were you thinking? I've been worried sick, running around like a maniac scaring everyone!
She kept talking and talking, but her words felt muffled.
All I could think about was what the nurse was about to say, and how Miss Warren had made sure I didn't hear it.
Something inside me snapped right then. Maybe the desperation was too much. Maybe Vanessa's voice in my head finally cut through everything. I had no idea how to drive. I had only watched Miss Warren doing it. But I knew one thing. If I didn't leave now, I'd never find out what happened to my sister. I spread the drawings out. The longer I stared at them, the clearer it got. That's when it clicked. She'd drawn a heart monitor. I got back in the car and headed to the hospital. Even from a distance, I recognized Miss Warren. Her stare could have burned through the glass. She was chasing me. I tried to get away, but when I turned toward the hospital, I lost control. The tires screeched and the car slammed into a metal barrier. It all happened in an instant. A blast of sound, a jolt, a violent flipping, and then pain. I remember looking down and seeing a metal rod sticking out of my chest. When I woke up, I was surrounded by white walls, the sharp smell of antiseptic, and the steady beeping of the monitors. A huge scar wrapped tight in bandages stretched across my chest. You were extremely lucky. A donor heart came through just in time. They got you into surgery fast. I laid there for days, and I couldn't tell if I wanted to cry from pain or from fear.
Has a girl who looked like me been here?
I don't know. I don't remember.
All of this happened because you didn't listen. I just wanted to keep you safe. She had a daughter once. She died because Miss Warren wasn't careful.
I realized that, to her, I wasn't me. I was just a replacement, someone else's ghost.
I missed her so much that I started drawing on the backs of the pages myself, just to feel some kind of connection. And then I realized I was actually good at it, better than ever. I'd never been able to draw before, but now the lines just flowed, confident, smooth, like my hand already knew what to do. And then this icy wave hit me. Everything inside me just froze. I jumped out of bed without thinking about the pain or the monitors. I was already running to the doctor, because if what I thought was true, it meant the worst thing imaginable. Who was the heart donor? Where did it come from? The world around me felt silent, like I was underwater. Her heart was put in a special machine to keep it safe.
When you were brought in after the accident, you were a mess. I didn't know who you were. But later, when I entered your room and I saw you, you were the spitting image of her.
I felt something inside me tearing apart, like a piece of fabric being pulled in every direction.
I couldn't reveal the donor's identity. That's why I didn't tell you right away.
My sister was gone, and her heart was inside me now.
In the
bottom drawer of the dresser, I found a letter from Vanessa. Hello, dear sister. I felt ill. The shelter director ignored my request to call an ambulance. They told me I had a fatal illness. I really want to see you one last time. Miss Warren read all of Vanessa's letters and she kept them from me. That's why the envelopes were always open. That's why Vanessa started sending clues in her drawings. I know everything.
I was trying to protect you! You're fragile! You wouldn't have survived!
The breakdown was sudden. It had been building for years. That's when I called an ambulance. Miss Warren is mentally ill. She forged the papers.
You have to go back to the orphanage.
I accused him of everything, lying about Vanessa, ignoring her illness, letting her die. He got scared and turned pale. I wanted to call the cops. I wanted him punished. But then, something inside me, my new heart, whispered, "Don't." I understood. She would have forgiven him, and I forgave him too. I hope that someday there will be people with hearts as kind as my sister's. People who will take home not just me, but Vanessa too. Vanessa, who is always with me now,